What's going on, man? It's your man Beez P, aka Portier, aka Beez Portier, aka COG, a child of God, whatever you want to call me, man. Just call me. You dig what I'm saying? And listen, I'd like to welcome y'all to my page, Polynomics with Beez P. And we're gonna discuss, you know what I'm saying, everything from relationships, marriages, entertainment, you know, in the world of polygyny, you know what I'm saying, and in the world of monogamy, because that's one of the main things that people are, you know, falling out for and breaking up in homes and marriages and things of that nature, because, you know, there's a lack of understanding of manhood, you know what I mean? And that's what we're going to be addressing on this page, and that's what we're going to be addressing on this topic. And we're also going to be going into you know, what's new in the news, the gossip, celebrity gossip, all those types of things, man, and how it pertains to relationships. So again, my name is Beez P. I'd like to welcome y'all to Polynomics with Beez P. Just to give y'all a little brief background on myself, man, I'm a hip hop head. I come out of the world of hip hop. You dig what I'm saying? You know, been in the game for at least 20 years now. Some people know me for, you know, back in Cleveland, which is where I'm originally from, you know, as being a legend, you know what I mean? As I must say so myself, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I've done a lot of things in the music industry, from being signed to Universal Records to doing songs with Fabulous, Fat Joe, Ice-T, Hitman, Sleepy Brown, and the list goes on, man. You know, you can just check me on my other YouTube page and you can see all of that right straight for your face. You see what I'm saying? But listen, now we're talking about polygyny. So just so you know, I've been married 20 years with one woman. Her name is Anna Yacht. You can see her right here, right? We got together in the year 2001, right after I divorced. And, you know, I met this young lady, and, you know, I just had to be real with her, you know what I'm saying, off the rip about who I was. You know, I was coming out of a marriage. I just got divorced that February. I think I met her around that July or that August of the same year. And, you know, we conceived a child very early in our relationship, maybe like 2 to 3 months after me meeting her, you know what I mean, if that long. I doubt if it was even that long. Me being the man that I was, you know, prior to that relationship, I had already had 2 sons by the same woman, and that relationship didn't work out. So I made a promise to myself that if I ever, you know, got a woman pregnant again, or if I had a child again, I was going to make sure I stayed with that woman, because, you know, I understood even then the importance of raising a child in the house with both parents. And so, you know, even though we didn't know each other, we weren't in love, you know, it was just a thing where as though, you know, she got pregnant and responsibility kicked in, you know what I mean? And that's what being a man is about, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it the way that we did it. I wouldn't even change it, because, you know, it worked out for us. And here we are, 2022, still together. So, you know, but in terms of me being a young man and being just real with myself, you know, maybe 6 months into her being pregnant, you know, we got married. And, you know, just a little story about that, you know, I did it the right way. I went out, drove to Chicago, which is where she's originally from. And I asked her father for her hand in marriage. You know, we let him know that she was pregnant. I asked him for her hand in marriage. We went and got married, you know, 6 months into the relationship, you know, 5 to 6 months into it. But the key thing was how it all ties into what I'm speaking about far as polygyny, and where I'm at in my life today is, you know, I kept it real with her, you know what I mean? The day of our marriage, you know, I had to take her downstairs in the basement of the church, you know, look at her in her face to face, and let her know that, listen, at that time we was young, you know what I'm saying? 26, 27, 29, you know, things of that nature. And you know, hoping to live to see 80 years or better, you know, in life. So as a man and a young man, that's 60 something years of life to live. And, you know, so just being honest with her, because of the love and the respect that was there early into the relationship, I told her, I said, listen, well, you know, I can't promise you. I mean, I can't tell you that for the next 50 to 60 years, I'm never going to be with another woman for the rest of my life. I would not even sell her into that thought process, which is that's the traditional thought process of women, monogamy, you know. And I told her only thing that I could do is try my best You know what I mean? To make sure that I don't be with another woman. You know, and that was the honest thing to say at that moment to her. You know, and this is on our wedding day, and you know, she looked back at me and said, you know, well, I can't promise you. You know what I'm saying? And we laughed because I understood that she wasn't that type of woman, but I understood also where she was coming from. We went down the aisle and we got married, you know what I mean? And then, you know, me periodically throughout the relationship, as a year go by, 2 years, this, that, and the third, I'm checking into her like, listen, you know, I want to date other women. You know, I'm a young man, you know what I'm saying? So she commended me for being honest all the way, you know what I mean? Because what I wanted to do was give her an opportunity to say, if this was what she wanted in her life, if it wasn't what she wanted in her life, then I gave her the opportunity to take that exit, you know what I mean? Take that exit route, because I was being honest, you know what I'm saying, along the way. And, you know, and for that, you know, she held on to my hand, and, you know, she walked through that whole process with me, you know what I mean? So, you know, so I've done it all. I've been monogamous. And I've also now lived in the world of polygyny, you know what I mean? Because when I was with her, the first years I was with her and things of that nature, I was monogamous. I didn't mess around with nobody. So, but that, I knew that that wasn't me. I knew that to just be with one woman for the rest of my life, that wasn't me. You know what I mean? So in 2010, you know, I decided to bring another woman. That was when I drew my line with myself, because a lot of men can go out and they married or whatever, and I know they love their wives. I know they love their wives, you know, but they'll go out, be with a woman, and then, you know, come back in the house and lay down next to their wife and totally be fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't have no sense of guilt or, you know, nothing within themselves. You know, I ask a lot of men today, you know, how could you do that? You know what I'm saying? How could you go out and be with another woman knowing, you know what I'm saying, and then go home and lay down next to your wife and still be okay with the fact that, you know what you just did. And she knows something is going on because she could feel it in her spirit, because that's what you're doing. You're transmitting energy, and every time you lay with a woman, that's exactly what you're doing in spirit. But she can't put her finger on it. She can't necessarily say exactly what it is that you're doing, but she know that you're doing something. And then you're not saying anything to her about what it is that you're doing. So then at that moment, you know, you're spiritually driving a wedge in your household. You know what I mean? You're dividing your household up at that moment because you playing her for stupid, and she really knows what's happening. You know what I mean? But she feel it, but she can't, like I said, tell you exactly what it is that's going on. So in 2010, I drew my line because that couldn't be me. You know what I mean? I haven't had to lie to nobody since my mama. You know what I mean? And I'm a grown man, and I didn't even really lie to my mama. So what did I look like being a grown man and say that I'm a grown man, yet and still I'm a liar because I'm living with a woman, and I'm not producing the fruits of truth to her because I'm out here doing whatever it is that I want to do behind her back. I don't give a damn if it's all the time or it's once in every 5 years. You could be married to a woman 30 years. You could be with this woman in your life 30 years, and you tell her, and she find out after the 25th year that in the first year that y'all was together, the first 2 years that y'all was together, you had a woman on the side, and that shit gonna sting her just like it would 25 years later, as it would if she just found out, like she just found out 25 years later. It's gonna sting her the same way it would if she found out within the first 2 years. So like I said, that couldn't be me. So, you know, when I met somebody, I brought her to my wife at that time, you know, told her about her. You know, we all got on the phone and talked. It was a young lady that I met that was, you know, that understood the culture of polygyny from her background and where she came from. And, you know, we began to speak and get involved. And so then I brought her to my wife, you know what I mean, and put them all on the phone. And, you know, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go because, of course, my wife, that's all she known in this society as well. You know, during that time was, you know, monogamy. That's all she understood. So what did we do? We, you know, we went and got divorced, maybe like not even a month later, because she stood on what it was that she wasn't going to do, which was enter into a polygynous relationship. And me being a man, I stood on my integrity because I'd rather stand on integrity and dignity than lay down on a lie. I'm gonna say that again. I'd rather stand on integrity and dignity than to lay down on a lie. So we divorced. you know. But like I said, I don't know why we really divorced, because we still was together. She still spent all the time that she was doing with my family, and you know, and I still was going over there, you know, knocking her down. You know what I mean? Even though I wasn't living with her, you know, we still carried on as if we were married. So, you know, it really was just a decision that she made out of her emotions and confusion and a lack of understanding of what that life was going to be like, which I understand that, you know what I mean? I understand that for any woman. But however, like I said, I had to stand on my principles as well. So, you know, later on, you know, how we got to this point is we went 2 years without being with each other. And, you know, during that time of being divorced, like I said, we still seen each other. So one day she gave me a phone call. She's making a move to New York. We living in Cleveland, and you know, her job gave her an offer that she couldn't refuse, and she made a proposition to me about moving up there for a year. You know what I'm saying? We moved back in together, and you know, and you know, try to coexist in the same house. After a year, then I move out, get my own place, and of course, you know, you living in a house with a woman, you know, you're going to become domesticated again. And especially if y'all been together as long as we had. And that's exactly what happened. So after that year being together, we didn't move. No, you know, I didn't move out. However, I had to still stand on my principle of what it was that I was doing for the 2 years that I was divorced. And so we had those discussions. And then, you know, 2014 roll around. Now, at the same time, we have a daughter together. You know, my daughter is being schooled under this understanding as well, because that's something that I always wanted her to understand, so she don't go through heartaches and disappointments and things of that nature in believing, you know, in these young guys that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, thinking that they just going to be with her, because that's never going to be the case. It's just not, you know what I mean? So, you know, after around 2014, 2015, 2 to 3 years, 3 years after us, you know, moving to New York and me entering into, the understanding of who I am as a man, you know, and then practicing the culture of being Hebrew Israelism, or being a Hebrew Israelite, you know, that's what I began teaching in the scriptures and things of that nature, which gave my wife an understanding of how men operate and how we operated in the past, in our history, and how we survived as a nation. So, you know, still not, you know, having her reservations about it, you know, 2016, I end up meeting another young lady, which is now my wife as well, Shayar. You see her right here. And, you know, I had to bring her through that same cycle of, you know, meeting my wife and things of that nature. And this time it went better than it did in 2010, because my wife had her own, let's say, spiritual epiphany, you know what I mean, where the Most High told her, you know, to stay with me, and that this was something that, you know, was going to be a part of her life, and for her to feel comfortable in it, and for her not to fear, and to put her faith in the Most High. And that's what she did. So when I brought the new young lady to the table, you know what I mean, you know, we the way that I had to do it was to bring them to a place of sitting down in a restaurant and talking with one another. And when I brought us all into the restaurant, my two wives and my daughter, and I sat them down, and I get, you know, the thought process of it all was that I was going to stay there, but I left. And I left them two women there to talk about whatever it is that they wanted to talk about. As I went down the street, you know what I mean? I went into a local bar, you know, sat down, had me a glass of wine, you know, and let the time roll by as they talked. Maybe about an hour or so went by. And, you know, I decided to go back over there. Like, yo, what's going on? You know, an hour go by. I want to know what's cracking. So I go back over there. And when I go back over there, you know, as I'm pulling up, you know what I mean? I see them coming out, you know, and they came out smiling and speaking and laughing. So that was a breath of fresh air right there in itself, you know. And then, you know, me and my wife and my daughter, we traveled down from New Jersey to Cleveland, because that's where we were living. And the young lady that I met, Shayar, who was my wife, she was living in Cleveland. So in my mind, I still have my bags in the back of the car that we traveled down from New Jersey in. So I'm thinking, well, if I take my bag, you know, and go stay, you know, in the house with, you know, with the new woman that I have, and then my wife is okay with that in the next morning, then this was going to be the plan of operation from the Most High to me in my life. And that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? I went with my new wife, and spoke with my wife the next day, and she had no problem. You know what I mean? She had no issues with it, and from that moment on, it's been a progression. It's been actually a road that the Most High prepared me for, because now in 2022, I find myself doing a lot of counseling, speaking with a lot of people about their relationships and things of that nature. I've counseled many relationships, many marriages, many relationships of just being together, toxic and healthy. You know what I mean? And so getting into this relationship now, when you got two wives and you're dealing with two women, I had to take the same time that I took with all those years of building with my wife that I was with for 20 years. I had to now give that same opportunity to my wife that I brought in. And, now we've been together for 6 years, and, I haven't, got into another full-fledged relationship, although I may have attempted to, deal with other women, you know what I mean, at that time, thinking that my wife wasn't going to accept it again. So if she wasn't going to accept it again, I immediately started searching for other women, because I know me, I wasn't going to get with my new wife and just settle with her and become monogamous. So I let her know off the rip, it was never going to just be me and her. It's going to always be me, her, and somebody else, or somebody's else. And it's not that I feel as though I have to have so many women. It's just that I don't know what God's plan is, and I'd rather leave the door open and the understanding that I may deal with multiple women than having a woman to believe that I'm just going to be with her. You know what I mean? And that's just something that a lot of men do, and they're very deceiving with living that kind of lifestyle, because they understand that if they come in the house and tell their wife or their lady, yeah, listen, I'm going to be, dealing with another woman, or I'm seeing another woman, they know that house, that equity, the children, they're not waking up with their children anymore, and that woman is going to leave, you know what I mean, and destroy that household. And that's just how that goes, within our culture. In other cultures all across the world, polygyny is accepted. And even when it come down to the white man and the white woman, they know, you know what I mean? Like I tell, and I make a little joke out of it lightly, that, Susie, she know Susie and Debbie, they know that Ted and Bill is out in Vegas, they the CEOs or whatever, the chairmen of a company or whatever the case may be, and they dealing with prostitutes. They out there, hiring prostitutes and things like that. And Susie and Debbie, they know it. But what is they gonna do? They're not gonna destroy their household because of it and everything that they have been built and working for. They gonna get Susie gonna get her a glass of bourbon. Or some Doer Scotch. She gonna climb up on the couch with a blanket. She gonna call Debbie up. They gonna be on the phone talking about what Ted and Bill is doing, and they fall asleep and then wake up in the morning and take little Jimmy and Jan to soccer practice and ballerina practice, and life is going to go on. They're not going to destroy their household because they know their history. And a majority of white people come up under the rule of Catholicism, and they deal and delve into that history, and they know that monogamy was instituted by the Roman Catholic Church. And most black people, only history that we know is slavery. It begins and ends with slavery. We don't go beyond that. So we don't understand what's inside of us, and outside of our DNA makeup and in our gene pool that have us being the way that we are. You know what I mean? They make men feel bad and make feel men like they're worthless because they don't want to settle with one woman. And I'm here to tell all my brothers, do not ever feel that way. You know what I mean? Understand your history, research your history, and understand why you have these certain desires. And there's nothing wrong with those desires. What makes it wrong is the deception that you live in with those desires. If you're honest and you're truthful up front when you meet a woman, giving her the opportunity to say whether or not she want to deal with you, then that will be the case. And then she has that opportunity to say if she do or if she don't. And if she choose to, then that's her business. And then that's your business. And then y'all carry on. So I just wanted to give a little brief. My life is way more complex than that. And, as we go along, y'all will get an opportunity to, you know, to learn a little bit more about me. You know, I will be on this channel each and every week. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, because listen, if you want some true understanding of this polygyny, a lot of people talk about it, but I live it. You know what I mean? And I've been living it. And then we like I said, I've been with my wife for 20 years, my other wife for 6 years. And I don't say first wife, second wife. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I just say what it is. The wife I was with the longest, 20 years, my new wife, 6 years, and we've been living together, down here in Atlanta for 2 years. And I ain't never had no issues and no problems with them two. You know, you go through the same type of problems and things of that nature you go through in a monogamous relationship when dealing with two women. It's just that me being who I am, I'm not settling for nothing less than what it is that I know for my life. I'm not changing my thought, my process, my mind on nothing on how did I move. And if a woman is going to take what my plan of actions is and my course, the road that I take, you know what I mean? Then we can hold hands and we can go down that road together, and everything will be good. And you will receive from me all the benefits and the things of that nature, because I know that I'm an upstanding, righteous man. And I'd rather a woman, when she take my hand, go down that path and be happy going down that path. Because if she ain't happy, then don't walk down that path with me. You know what I mean? Because I'm never going to change who I am, you know what I mean, at this stage in my life. And I employ men to do the same thing. Don't be a liar. Live in your truth. Don't go home to your wife when you know you've been out with all other kind of women and this, that, and the third. And if you want some game, come holler at me and I'll let you know how to go about it. All right. This your man Beez P. Make sure you like, subscribe, click the notification bell, because we're going to be getting into some deep topics. This was just an introduction to the page, Polynomics with Beez P.